Hello, and thank you for listening to Cool Nerds Unite. I'm Roderick.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Amber Marie. That's me.
All right, good people. We're talking about from books to movies.
Yes, got a great episode tonight. We have a lot of things that we're going to be talking about as far as books to movies because that covers a lot of different areas.
Yes, it does.
Yes, a very broad subject. So I'm going to start us off with asking the age-old question from the dawn of time. Do you prefer the book or the movie?
Ooh,
when it comes to movies and books.
Of course you would say that.
I mean, hey, it's a question that's the dawn.
Right?
It's the dawn of time. Do you prefer when you go to a movie and you see a movie? Do you prefer the book version or the movie version? Which is better? Which is always better in your opinion?
Well, personally, for me, I would say the book. Of course, you guys know I'm into graphic novels, but sometimes it can be an oxymoron. Because it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. Because in your mind, you remember how the characters are fleshed out in the book, and then you go to the movie.
And sometimes it's not what you had in your head.
Exactly. It becomes a disappointment.
Does that make
why
you
does
change
Harry
your opinion
Potter
about
have
the movie?
blue eyes? Like, that's not what was in the book.
See, that's the thing. I think that's a lot of issues that people have when they go to see a movie that from a book that they've grown up with.
Yeah.
For years and years at a time. So you already have this preconceived notion in your head of what a character looks like and how this is supposed to look and how that's supposed to look. So then you go to the movies and then you see this character and then everything's not exactly how you pictured it. So should a movie be judged so harshly because of those grounds?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it should be judged on that type of merit. I think it should be based upon the acting, the direction of the director, Well,
because sometimes like a film doesn't have to be 100% accurate, true to the story for it to be a good film.
Yeah, that's
It might
true.
not be an accurate film to the original story, and sometimes it just gets a little bit hairy because books will have an intention, and sometimes that intention
It can't be translated well to the screen.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I almost lost my train of thought here a little bit. Give me a second. Okay. I was going to say that when it comes to movie adaptations from books, I feel like the companies have to cater to not just the book fans.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They have to cater to everyone. So I think it's important for them to take certain liberties. So that's why they tend to not actually follow the book.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Or like one good example I'll say is Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah.
I was fortunate enough to actually read the book before I saw the movie. So the way the Hunger Games played out the first film, they were able to fix the movie in such a way where if you didn't know what a Mockingjay was, or you didn't know what a Jabberjaw, I don't know what the heck it's called, is they actually made it in such a way where they were able to tell the audience what it was without actually, almost like a fourth wall break, but not really.
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain. I encourage people to see the movie if you understand what I'm talking about. If you've never seen the book, it's like you don't need to actually read the book before you go actually go see the movie.
Well, it's just like a picture is worth 1,000 words, a motion picture is worth 100,000 words.
Yeah, I definitely say movies have to take certain liberties because
yeah, right.
Right. So they can't cater to just the book audience. They need to cater to everyone because they have to make their money's worth too. So I can understand them wanting to have to take some liberties and they have to make some changes, especially when some things just can't come to screen. Stephen King's It, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. There's no way they're going to film that one
They
scene.
cannot. There's no way. Even Stephen King said no. We can't. There's no.
Right.
Even I wrote that and I said you can't put that in there.
You could just go the Big Mouth route and use cartoons, but
Don't do that. If anyone works for Big Mouth, do not take that. No, we don't. No,
Big
please.
Mouth wasn't a book, so can't talk about that today.
Please don't. Please don't.
But as far as like the big players though in the industry of churning books into movies, there are just certain juggernauts we can't stay away from or not talk about, like Lord of the Rings, for instance.
yeah.
Harry
Yes, that's
Potter,
a given. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, classics.
Narnia.
Narnia.
Sagas, yeah.
Oh,
Am I the only one who's like
excellent.
kind of over Narnia?
Really?
Narnia's just so meh. One big Jesus Christian allegory.
Oh, for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like it's just kind of one big epic eye roll for me. Aslan died for our sins.
So, Liam Neeson doing the voice of the Lion, you didn't like it too
I like Liam Neeson. It's just like when it's
Well,
like
I feel like the first movie was definitely a good watchable movie,
Yeah.
especially if you're a fan of
Yeah.
the original. It was a lot better now. I'm not sure if either of you have seen this, but I believe it was the BBC came out with, I remember it came on 3 VHS tapes, but it was just Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I think this may have came out in the 80s or 90s, but it was like a straight to TV Lion the Witch and the
Yeah.
I do
Wardrobe.
remember that
remember that.
vaguely.
Yeah, I remember that.
it.
Remember the girl played Lucy was like too old and she had a lisp and
I do remember that. That's probably why I kind of blocked it out of my
Yeah.
memory because it was actually bad.
Yeah, she kind of sounded like Cindy Brady from the Brady Bunch.
She did. She did. She did.
No offense to Cindy Brady. I like Cindy Brady, but she did sound
Yeah.
like Cindy Brady.
it's like when they were making a new Narnia, I was actually a bit excited because I was like, oh, now they can do a two justice big screen Narnia film and
Yeah.
Would you say that this film actually did it justice?
I don't think they would have been able to do the rest of the series. It fell flat. It didn't do as well as Harry Potter. Let's just
It
say.
didn't.
No,
The first
not
one was
at all.
obviously the best one, stayed truest to the source material.
Yeah.
The other ones that followed, as far as I'm concerned, don't exist to me. No, seriously. Prince Caspian, who? No, don't care. Don't care.
I did forget about that one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Point
exactly,
taken.
yeah.
Point taken. The Lion, the Witch in the Wardrobe, leave it right there. That was the
Yeah.
closest adaptation. And as
Yeah.
much as I could really care less about The Lion, the Witch in the Wardrobe, good story. It stayed close to the source material. Even though I'm kind of over the whole Jesus theology about Aslan dying for our sins and, Mary and her sister, finding his body and then be resurrected on the third day to fight evil.
If I'm not mistaken.
exactly. I did see all that when I saw the movie. I thought it was just me.
Oh no, it's totally intentional.
Now, the best thing about that movie, Tilda Swinton.
Ooh,
She was the best thing about that movie.
Yeah,
You know what?
Queen.
Tilda Swinton in any movie makes it a lot
Yes,
better, to be
she
honest
made
with
that movie. This was her movie. Like, I'm watching it for Tilda Swinton. She was scary with her no eyebrows and the cold
Yeah.
face and just,
She gets
she's
into
amazing.
character.
she's amazing. Like, I was
Yeah.
scared. I was terrified of her. This is a kid's movie and I'm terrified of her.
Okay, I don't want to get too far off the subject, guys, but between her and Kate Blanchett.
Ooh, why would you do that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't make me choose. Don't make me choose.
They're both very good character actors.
that's
though,
like
actresses.
that's like trying to pick between like agave and like real honey. Like they're both great.
Yeah, it's like, I like
Oh, I
Kate
choose both
Blanchett. I
of
like
them.
Tilda
I
Swinton.
mean-
I don't want to choose because they're both awesome. Okay, if I had to choose, like, oh god, this is so mean. I guess Tilda Swinton. I guess it's so close though. It's so close.
Because think about it. Think about it. When she was in Lord of the Rings.
See, but then you brought Lord of the
Oh,
Rings up,
man.
and I loved her in Lord of the Rings. And
Yeah,
it's-
me too. And
I'm not
I
even a
love
huge
Tilda
Lord of the
Swinton.
Rings fan, and I liked her in Lord of the Rings.
Well,
Yeah, I love Tilda
Yeah.
Swinton as well.
Speaking of Lord of the Rings and book to movie adaptations, there is a stark difference between the quality of the Hobbit trilogy, which didn't need to be a trilogy,
Break it down, Justin.
Yeah.
and
break
the
it down.
original trilogy of The Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. Those three movies are just so watchable. It doesn't matter if you get the extended edition
Solid.
that takes a week to watch through. Like it's
3 solid films
Yes.
that you should have just left alone. The Hobbit was a cash grab.
it's like the CGI
Yes.
is corny. There's corny stories added in. Like, why did they
Yeah.
need that extra love story? Was that even in the book?
Yeah.
The Fellowship
I
of the
agree
Ring
with that.
trilogy was the tightest woven. I saw that whole trilogy maybe once, and it's a good movie. It's just not my kind of movie that I
Yeah.
could just sit there and watch because it's just really long. And
Yeah, I
just too
remember you
much.
telling
And granted, there are things that they omit, like characters like Tom Bombadil. That
But
would
they
Yeah.
kind of have to.
Yeah.
right.
But you got to, yeah, they have to because, running time, we have to cut certain, some things
Yeah.
have to be cut and understood.
Even
Yeah.
with all those cuts, it was how many hours long to watch the?
They're like
Ooh.
2.5 hours, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, a little bit over, what,
They're
2
about 2
hours?
to 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Ooh, my
I'm
goodness.
saying like that we're talking almost Titanic length.
Yeah,
And Titanic is 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Do you know, I know a lot of people that haven't seen Titanic because of the fact it was too long.
that's
It kind of set the bar for a lot of movies that came after that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
It's-
can be a blockbuster and be 3 hours long. Like, that's,
back in the day, I was obsessed with that movie. I mean, I literally know how long the runtime of that movie is. 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 32 seconds.
dang.
Oh,
Saw
yeah.
that movie in theaters.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was probably too young to
I
see
was
that. In
I was a
theaters, but-
fangirl. It was one of my dark days, but yeah. But yeah, I agree. The Fellowship of the Ring, those 3 movies right there, the tightest woven
Yeah.
book to movie adaptation. Yes, there were things that were cut. I'm still reading my Lord of the Rings novel. I'm still reading it. It's thick. It's fat. There's a lot of fat back there. But yeah, I would say it's the closest. Even though there were things that were cut, it flowed really nicely.
It did.
I saw the movie once, but would I see it again? it'll probably be background noise for me doing something else, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. It's just, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Visually,
Yes.
right down. I mean, the
music,
score,
too.
Cinematography, the score.
fantastic
Oh.
score.
Howard
Yeah,
Shore
score.
knocked it out of the park with that.
I could just
Yes,
listen to
he
the
did.
score, and that's good enough
Right.
for me.
I agree with it. I agree with everything you guys had just said. Personally, I gotta bring this up. My girlfriend's son is 4 years old. Hi, Austin. He's 4 years old, and of course, a 4-year-old, he grows impatient. Do you know he loves Lord of the Rings? He would sit there for
That's a
over
prodigy
2
right there.
hours and watch it and memorize the lines.
That's a prodigy that you have a kid that's willing to sit through 2.5 hours and not fidget, have to go to the bathroom, not complain, not be, distracted
Man,
by something else.
I couldn't get through a Bugs Bunny
Bugs
Bunny cartoon when I was 4 years
Right,
old.
my
20
ADD would
minutes
act
is
up
too long.
So bad.
Play with blocks now. That's impressive.
But he's sitting through a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yes, I was impressed. I said, do you want to watch Lord of the Rings? He's like, what's Lord of the Rings?
Did he know what
And
was going on?
I explained to him about the characters. He wanted to know who Gandalf was, Frodo. I said, that's Frodo. I like him.
Does he understand what's happening? Like the basic
Well,
concept?
in his mind, I try to explain to him in a child,
Oh, you give him the Cliff Notes, the child
yeah,
Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
'Cause I
see, all these
remember-
Only a
people are
child
fighting
would
over a piece of
understand.
jewelry and they have to throw it in a volcano.
That's the sum up right there. That's Cliff
And of
Notes.
course, he loves the dragons.
The
Oh,
ring
yeah.
is bad. We
And
must
he-
toss it into the volcano. That is the main plot line for the whole series.
Yeah.
We got to get this ring to this mountain before the evil and stuff. That's simple, basic plot line.
He even remember who Elijah Wood was. We happened to see him in another movie, and he was like, "That's Frodo."
Speaking of Elijah Wood in book to film adaptations, he was in, was it Mark Twain? He was in Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn
Yes.
as
that
a
version?
youngster. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that version.
It was good.
I've seen a lot of versions of
Yeah,
Huckleberry
it was
Finn.
one of the ones that we, at least I remember, it was one of the, even though my siblings went to different schools at that age, like it was one of those you watch this movie after reading the book kind of thing.
Because Huckleberry Finn, that's the story of Tom Sawyer and Huck, right? Tom and Huck?
Is
that the one?
Yep.
But I think
Yeah.
it's more focused on Huckleberry Finn, whereas
Okay.
Tom Sawyer is a song by Rush and
Yeah, I've saw so many versions of Huckleberry Finn. I don't think I've ever seen the Elijah Wood one. I mean,
It was good.
I even saw, forgive me for this, I even seen the Jonathan Taylor Thomas version.
Oh my
I
gosh!
saw that. Too.
I mean, come on.
I did. I
It's-
saw it
TT.
too.
Come on. It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He was my heartthrob back in the day, and it was a bad movie, but still. I even saw his version of Pinocchio, and I was
Oh, I do remember that one.
I saw it too.
It was like on TV,
I'm
like on
guilty of it
Christmas or
too.
something.
I saw it last week. It was on was it Voodoo TV or something? Like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
get to watch it for free with commercials, and
Man, what is
it's so bad.
what is JTT doing these days?
I think he gave up acting. I think he's actually just being like a regular person these days.
Oh wait, I think he might have some cameo appearances on Last Man Standing.
See, now I have a reason to
Tim
watch. I
Allen.
just want to see.
Oh, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why, because of Home Improvement.
Yes.
back
Yeah, I
in
think
the
he
day.
gave up acting
Home
a long
Improvement.
time ago, but I do remember that Pinocchio movie, and it kind of gave me nightmares a little bit because it was kind of a dark tale. What happened to those kids? They
Yeah,
literally
it
turned
was
into
very
donkeys.
dark.
Well, Pinocchio is it's kind of like a precursor to a lot of like Bicentennial Man is just a retelling of Pinocchio.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah, right.
It
Story
is.
of data or AI, artificial intelligence. They're all about.
That was a good movie too.
Bicentennial Man was kind of creepy, but I don't know.
So was
hadn't mixed it.
AI.
Yeah.
was
I
kinda
did not
creepy,
like
too.
AI. AI had a very
Did
sad,
you
tragic
like
ending.
Gav? Gavin didn't like it.
Well,
Samo didn't
AI
like
was
it.
supposed to be simultaneously a Pinocchio story, but also a love letter to Stanley Kubrick's style.
Yeah.
It was a very tragic ending. I
Yeah.
remember feeling so depressed by the end.
Yeah, I was like the first
Yeah,
time I
it
had an
was. Very
existential
depressing.
crisis was at the end of that movie.
I didn't want to watch it again because it just hurt
I'm
so
going
bad.
to
Like,
die, just like this robot child.
this is messed up. Like, what? This is. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to feel this.
Stanley Kubrick as a director was a very good director. He was very good. But the only thing that that Stephen King had a problem with him directing The Shining was some of his ad libs that he had for some of the characters, especially Jack Nicholson.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah,
That
Here's Johnny.
movie though just stands on itself
Yeah.
so well.
Yes,
It's a
it
classic
does.
line. Here's Johnny.
All work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
All right, so real quick, I got a question. What are some of the pros and cons of movies versus books?
So
Like, what do movies have that books don't, and what do books have? What makes them better?
One
what
of
does
the-
one have and what doesn't?
sorry. I wanted to bring this up
Okay.
since I knew about this episode, but
Go.
when it comes
You can't see
to
my
a
hands.
great
The hand gesture.
adaptation, like everything was like you didn't miss any parts of the story. You were able to get all the context, add new information. I thought Holes has to be one of the best book to movie adaptations.
So
ever.
glad you brought that up. I loved
Yeah.
Holes.
Do
That
you
was
know-
the perfect, one
Yeah.
of the best ones.
That movie was so good.
Yeah, like
I was
stellar
surprised how much I
cast,
liked it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought it was going to be
everybody was good.
horrible.
You did?
I honestly, I did
Oh.
not, because
Why?
those movies, though, because I saw it on the Disney Channel, and things on the Disney Channel are kind
Ooh,
of like,
yeah. It's
whatever.
like, even Stevens, come on.
Yeah, even Stevens, I don't want to watch this crap. And then it came on. It's like, I'm like,
This
I
isn't
was
bad.
fascinated. I was interested. It was the story of kissing Kate Barlow and everything. I wanted to know everything.
Yeah.
It
Like-
was excellent.
Sigourney Weaver, come on.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
Is that John Voight or no? That's
Sigourney Weaver. I'll watch
yeah.
anything with Sigourney Weaver in it.
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
But yeah, and
Did
John
an
Voight. Yeah,
excellent
but
job.
that was the one where I saw the movie first and then I read the book.
Oh,
I didn't have the liberty of reading the book and then watching the movie. But
I
when
remember seeing commercials for the movie on TV, and that was everyone in my class is reading the book. And so as soon as it was available in the library, borrowed it, read it, and then saw the movie a few weeks later. And yeah, it was just like, wow.
Yeah, Holes is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
I can still watch it now. It's like I'm almost 30 and I can still watch it now.
I've seen it twice. It was really good.
You got a pretty strong cast in there. You got Sigourney Weaver, John Voight, and then even Stevens guy. Forget his name.
Oh man, I'm not sure if he went crazy on purpose or if that was just him being his artistic
I don't know.
phase.
Anybody tends to go
I
on the
think it was
Disney Channel.
artistic phase.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
I mean, look at Jaden Smith. I mean, we all kind of go a little crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has like a crazy artistic phase.
Him dressed up as Batman a few months back, that really has me worried.
I don't know. These kids are just growing up so fast. Okay, so one thing I will say. Okay, here's the thing I will say about books, and this is why I think people say books are usually better than the movie. Number one, when it comes to reading the book, you actually get inside the character's mindset,
Yeah, fleshed
the
out.
thought process, and why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Movies, you can't get that. So I would say with books, there's sort of a, I think it's like a dramatic irony because you
Yeah.
already know what's coming, but the movie doesn't translate that until
Right.
it actually happens.
It's like they could do
Yeah.
flashbacks and other things, but you can't. That doesn't translate the
Right.
same.
It depends. It depends on how it's done, too. Because you think it to yourself, okay, I read the book. No, that doesn't, no. I don't remember the character being that way.
Right.
Yeah, but their
Kind
motivations,
of disappointing.
character motivations are explained a whole lot better in
Yeah.
the books. You get into their psyche of
Yeah.
what's going on, and the descriptions of what's being told to you are just a little more richer.
I
say.
agree. And then also, if it just go according to that blueprint, then it wouldn't be as exciting if you're sitting there and you just know how the character is going to turn out. I guess that's the reason why the director decides to go that route.
Right.
I'm assuming.
Oh, definitely. I agree. Yep.
So should we talk about terrible books that made terrible movies?
Oh, yeah.
I got one. You can't see my hand. It shot up in the air. I got a good one, and it drove
Okay,
me
go
crazy.
ahead.
I
Amber.
must see if it's the one I have written down. But
Oh, wait. Want to say it at the same time?
yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Twilight.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Man, I tried reading it and I couldn't get through it. It's in first person, but it's obnoxiously in first person.
Oh
Every
my
other
God!
sentence
Thank you.
started with
Thank
like
you.
I did this, then I did that. I'm like, you can write books in first person that
Oh
don't
my
sound
God! Well,
this.
first of all, doing my research, I found out that Twilight was actually based off of a fan fiction. It was
Yes.
fan fiction first.
That's what I heard.
And that kind of disappointed me. Like, wait a minute, you
Yeah.
mean a fan fiction that got famous? Not knocking fan fiction, because I've written fan fiction back in my day. But like you said, it's first person. I cannot stand first person. I do not like, I mean, no disrespect to people that write in first person or people that enjoy first person. I just don't like first person because I feel like it feels so, I can't even think of the word. It just feels so elementary, so childish a little bit. But it can be done right. There's a way in which you do it. But if you read, 'cause
Right, yeah.
unfortunately, I've read the Twilight book and I will never read it again. I'm not going to read the other ones. If my OCD or not. I'm still not going to read them.
Well, it's like James Joyce can give you a stream of his consciousness that makes sense, that you can get into and feel. But
But her
Stephanie
book,
Meyer,
just the first chapter alone will have you driving crazy. I live in Forks. I used to go here from time to time. It's like every other sentence begins with I. Every other sentence begins with I. I'm not kidding you. But the thing is, the movies do the book justice.
which also spawned another book to movie combination.
But the movies are horrible, but the books are horrible too. So,
which, hey, if it wasn't for Twilight, we wouldn't have 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah.
I read that book too.
I did not read it.
Don't.
Yeah.
I read that just because people kept telling me how awful it was.
Yeah,
And I
it was a
wanted to
hard pass
see-
for me.
There's this great video online of who voices Iago. Really.
You can't see me right now.
Soundlord's gonna chime in.
It's Gilbert Godfrey.
Yes, Gilbert Gottfried. There's this great video of him narrating him reading through 50 Shades of Grey,
I
and
remember
it's
that
just
video.
hilarious.
I have a confession. I did not read the books, but I did see the movies.
Ooh, in theaters?
No, I didn't.
You've only received half of that punishment. So
Like, isn't it just like softcore porn?
it is softcore
Yeah, it
porn.
is.
It's basically porn without plot when you
I
think
found
about
it
it.
to be quite delightful, actually.
I mean, if you're going there just to get off, then that's fine.
Sure.
Then just watch. But I really,
Hi, Amy.
we're still a GPG podcast.
Indeed.
PG,
But
yes.
I will say, look, the movies were horrible. Twilight was horrible, and it was softcore porn, and it gave young girls false ideas of what love is,
Yeah.
and that
yeah.
really irritated my soul because all in all, when you narrow it down, I'm really gonna break this down right now.
He's a rich guy, so he
It's
gets
a
away
rich
with
guy
it.
who's abusive to her.
Yes.
He's abusive. He's
Yeah,
emotionally
and
abusive
ve-
towards
and
her.
very controlling.
Let's
He's
just face
controlling.
it. If he lived in a trailer park,
I am
this would
not
be an
for that,
episode
by
of
the
Maury.
way.
It would.
I must say I'm not completely for that. What I am completely for is the sexual content.
Oh yeah, which is
I mean,
totally
that's
a
what we're going
legitimate
for. That's
thing.
what
Like
we're
if you
going
paint
for. We're not
yourself
going-
as like, hey, this is just
We are not going for the plot. We are going for the porn. That is the reason why we went to go see 50 Shades of Grey. That's why I went. I'm not going for the
Yeah.
plot because there is no plot.
if you're a consenting adult, go for it. you
Yeah.
know?
And Dakota Johnson
It's
is
legal
like,
porn that you
really
can go
beautiful.
see. Like- yeah, but Twilight was one of the worst. False ideas of love. You have a guy who's watching you sleep without your permission for months.
Yeah, that was creepy.
That's
Twilight,
stalking.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's creepy.
stalking. That is stalking. You're stalking someone, and she's totally fine with this.
Yeah.
He literally said that he wanted to kill her, and then for some reason that's romantic to her. I don't understand.
Wow.
And then she's one of the worst protagonists I have ever read about because she doesn't do anything. Her character does
Wait,
nothing.
are you talking about Twilight now or 50
Both
Shades
of them.
Grey?
They're both horrible.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Am I
mirror,
is there really a
mirror
difference?
image.
Is there really a difference? Is there really a difference? Neither of them do anything. They accept abuse and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's literally the same character. 50 Shades of Grey was a fan fiction for Twilight.
Ah,
Wow.
So that's where 50 Shades of Grey came from. It started off as a fan fiction for Twilight. Replace the names, whatever their characters' names were.
I just remember
in,
Bella.
replace
Yeah,
the
Bella.
And Edward
replace the
and-
main characters of 50 Shades of Grey with Bella and Edward.
yeah.
And you will get the exact same
Yeah.
thing. Only the main character isn't, a vampire.
So
I didn't
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't find the vampire Edward.
Yeah.
I didn't like the sparkling
They're
effect.
fairies.
That
They're
was very
sparkling fairies that
disconcerting.
suck blood. They're
Yeah.
blood-sucking fairies.
It's just like
I'll
oh,
never forget. This is funny. I'll never forget the first time I saw Twilight. But I knew nothing about it. And then Edward is about to go into the sunlight, and he's like, "Okay, you need to see what I really look like." And I was really expecting this horrible, grotesque thing, and I'm sort of like bracing myself like this with my head in my side of my shirt because I'm really thinking I'm going to see something so hideous. And then he gets into the sunlight, and I burst out laughing.
It's like General Armstrong and Full Metal Alchemist just sparkling.
Like, wait, what is this? Is he sparkling? You don't even have fangs. And plus, what makes his character worse is the fact that these characters, they have no real flaws. The only way to kill these characters is by tearing them apart, but then there's no creature alive that could tear them apart except other vampires, and then you have to burn them to pieces.
Oh yeah, threw a huge wrench into a lot of really great vampire lore that's out there.
I'm just going to say right now, my favorite vampire franchise is the Underworld.
Oh man, Kate Beckinsale.
Underworld.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
She's
my
great
favorite.
for a
was
lot of
good.
reasons. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with
a
you.
lot of reasons.
I concur.
I bet both of you concur. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite vampire franchise because that actually took it back to the vampire lichen
Right.
lore.
It
Yeah.
discusses the different rules. You have UV light, silver, all these.
They're
different
allergic to
things
light
that are,
and they're allergic to silver.
It makes sense. Like they make bullets that have UV light.
I
in
thought
them.
that was
Like,
clever.
That's brilliant.
Kate
concept to have.
Beckinsale.
They harness
Yeah.
sunlight as a weapon.
Yes.
And Rona Mitri doesn't give enough credit. I think come on, she needs credit. She needs credit.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, she
Yeah.
had a small role. I think the third film was actually my favorite. Story-wise, it was actually my favorite.
It was good. I
mean,
think
it
the
was a
characters
very-
were fleshed out too.
It was a traditional plot of Romeo and Juliet, but as far as storylines go, I think it was the best of the. Are there 4 or 5? I don't even think there's 4.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4. No, it's Awakening and then Bloodlines or Blood something, but I didn't see that one because I don't care. No, seriously. I think it all went downhill when Michael Sheen stopped being part of it, and there was Kate Beckinsale who made it
yeah.
good, and then Michael Sheen. I love Michael Sheen. He's one of my favorite little B-list actors. I really like him.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I'm surprised he's not in enough movies. He should be in more movies.
He's in movies. It's like he's one of those characters. He's one of those actors. Like if you blink, you'll miss him.
Yeah. Like you recognize his face, but like, wait, what's his name? He was in that one movie. That guy. Yeah.
He's kind of like a character actor, like Johnny Depp, I would say. So you wouldn't know you were
alas,
watching
yes.
Michael Sheen
Yes.
unless you were actually.
Yeah, we couldn't
looking
afford Johnny Depp
because
so we
he was
got
in
Michael
Twilight too. Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, he sure was.
He was in. See, that's what I'm saying. He's a character
Wow.
actor. He was in New Moon. He played one of. He played one of the what do you call those people? The Volturi evil vampire thingamabobbers.
So
Okay,
just,
I go with
just
that.
bring this back to more kid-friendly movies. A lot of Disney movies
Dun, dun, dun.
were previously books, and
Okay.
one that comes to mind, which is definitely changed to the nth degree because it was not kid-friendly. Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
never kid friendly to begin
True.
with.
Oh,
It's like
no.
that got away. I don't know how this movie did not get away with this PG rating. I don't know how because there were elements in that movie that were
You
Yeah.
actually
not.
see someone get killed
Yeah,
in the
she-
very first 5 minutes.
Yeah, the first few scenes was a woman getting killed and her baby was snatched from her.
and
like
almost
this is
killed
not,
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, this is not a kid movie. And then the source material is not kid friendly
Oh
at
no,
all.
not-
it gets
at all.
gets so much worse than like Esmeralda actually gets. I mean, she gets tortured in the movie, like being burned at the stake.
Yeah, but in the
almost,
actual
like,
material,
she gets actually tortured.
yeah, but like the movie itself was never.
Oh no, it's
Even
So-
as a kid, I was wondering like this is kind of
there's a lot of like he sings a song about like
wanting to rape her
Yeah,
essentially.
it's-
Oh, yeah.
He
yeah.
becomes obsessed with her.
Yeah, Idris Elba is going to direct a new version of that.
really
Yeah.
Ooh,
Is it Disney related or are you talking about like what?
like, more
It-
close
it-
to the novel.
Well, from what he said in the interview, it's going to be close to a novel. A
I
recent
kind of want to see it
interview.
because Hunchback is one of my favorite Disney films because not only the score is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love the Latin speeching
Oh yeah, it's
songs
like it's
and
really
Yeah.
the Catholic rite is very well
Yeah, I love-
represented in that.
for some reason I just love that kind of music. I just love how it plays out. But yeah, it's one of my favorite Disney films. Again, even as a child, I wondered how in the heck did this get away with a G rating because there's so many elements in
Right.
here that are just not kid friendly.
But then you also have like the other Disney films that were books like Robin Hood, Three Musketeers.
About to do a new remake to Robin Hood, too.
Oh, like
There was
based
one.
off the Fox cartoon or the
Well, it's going to be based off the movie, book adaptation of it. And Jamie Foxx is going to be in it.
My man is in that movie. Not Jamie Foxx is the other one. He plays Eggsy in Kingsman. He's my other husband right next to Jason Momoa. I just want everyone to know that. I forget his name, but he's gorgeous. He plays Robin Hood, and I love him.
So would you consider then, speaking of Jason Momoa and Aquaman, would you consider, well, I know you mentioned Watchmen before.
Yeah.
But like graphic novels and comics that are made into films, would you consider that in the realm of books to movies?
I would.
Okay.
Comic books, yeah.
like
It's
even like
well
anime or
written.
manga?
Yeah.
It's
most
well
definitely.
written, and I think what they did do in the book was bring out a lot about political aspect of what's going on with government and religion and sex. Okay,
Well, we can't say sex on the podcast.
but
Gender sex. Okay.
I think they changed the ending for the movie, and a lot of people were okay with it. Alan Moore from the very beginning, which he created, and wrote the graphic novel. He had a problem with them, with DC wanting to make that into a movie, and I think that had a hindrance overall the popularity of the movie, because he spoke about it so